Lately, many stories about creepers have been published in the news. So I wanted to share my story too. I thought I had found a hidden gem when I first moved into my previous apartment. A place like this, in the heart of the city for that price, it seemed too good to be true. The landlord was an older man, a bit distracted, but he didn't ask too many questions, and the rent was unbelievably low. I figured I had just gotten lucky and signed the lease without thinking twice. And the apartment wasn't much, just a small studio with creaky floors and peeling paint. But it had charm, and I was excited to start fresh. The first few nights were quiet, just me, my boxes, and the city sounds outside. I slept peacefully, until the noises started. At first, it was faint. A soft rustling in the walls like mice or an old pipe expanding with the heat. I didn't think much of it. Old buildings make noises. But one night I heard something that made my skin crawl. A slow shuffling sound, like feet dragging across the floor. It came from the crawl space between my apartment and the next. I sat up, my heart racing. I held my breath, straining to hear. The sound stopped. I convinced myself I was imagining things. Maybe I was just overtired. But when I lay back down, I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. The next day at work, I couldn't concentrate. That evening I came home and searched the apartment. I knocked on walls, checked vents, and looked in every corner. Everything seemed normal. I told myself it was just building noises, but they didn't stop. A few nights later, I woke up to the sound of breathing. Slow, steady breathing, just on the other side of my wall. My heart thundered in my chest. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and scanned the room. Nothing. The air felt heavy, like someone was watching me. I started noticing other odd things. Food disappeared from my fridge. My bathroom mirror would be fogged up when I hadn't used the shower. Items weren't where I left them. I told myself I was being forgetful. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. I bought a small camera and set it up facing the entrance. It was my secret reassurance, proof I was imagining things. The next morning, I reviewed the footage. My hands trembled as I watched. Hours of nothing. Then, at 3:27 a.m., movement. A figure slipped out from the wall behind my bed. Thin and ghostly, he moved with eerie precision. He stood over me, watching. His pale face and hollow eyes sent chills down my spine. He lingered for minutes before vanishing back into the crawl space. I froze. My chest tightened. This was real. Someone was living inside my walls. I wanted to run, but my legs felt like lead. I stayed in that chair, trembling, until dawn broke. By daylight, it felt absurd, like a bad dream. I took the footage to the police. They seemed concerned, but found nothing when they searched. Old buildings have quirks, one officer said. Probably just a squatter who moved on. I didn't believe them. I couldn't sleep. Every noise was a threat. I kept the lights on and a knife under my pillow. Moving out wasn't an option. I was broke, and breaking the lease would cost too much. One night I heard it again, the shuffling and breathing. This time I crept to the wall and pressed my ear against it. I heard a soft tapping, like fingers brushing inside. My heart pounded as I pushed against the panel. It shifted. A hidden door. Fear and curiosity warred inside me. I took a deep breath and pushed it open. A stench hit first. Musty and sour. My flashlight revealed a narrow crawl space filled with old blankets, food wrappers, and strange items. A notebook full of scribbles. Photos of me, my daily routine. What time I left, what time I returned. My stomach lurched. There, among the clutter, was a knife. Rusted but sharp enough. I heard movement. I spun around. The flashlight caught a shadow. Him. His eyes glinted with dark curiosity. He was gaunt, almost skeletal, his hair matted. "You shouldn't be here," he whispered, his voice raspy and calm. He took a step closer. "You've been watching me," I stammered, the words barely escaping my dry throat. "Why?" He smiled. "I like to know people. You're interesting." I didn't think. I lunged, shoving past him. A nail scraped my arm. Adrenaline surged, and I bolted, slamming the panel behind me. I could hear him moving, scrambling inside the walls. I ran outside, gasping for air. My hand shook as I dialed the police again, refusing to leave until they searched everything. They found him. He was a former tenant who never left. Evicted years ago, he carved paths through the walls, slipping in and out unnoticed, watching every tenant since. He admitted he liked the power, being unseen, controlling lives from the shadows. He kept journals of everyone, photos, souvenirs. They arrested him, but the damage was done. The knowledge that someone had watched me so intimately for so long left scars I couldn't see but always felt. I broke my lease, left the city, and never felt safe again. Even now, in a new home with fresh walls and sturdy locks, I check. Every wall, every vent, every hidden space. Because once you know someone could be watching, you never stop looking.